Hello everyone, my name is Sohaib Arif and welcome to the CITE Application 2017-2018 webinar. I'll be going over the processes and procedures for the Acorn CITE 2017 and 2018 application. The purpose of this webinar is to provide information for potential applicants regarding the RFP for the 2017-2018 CITE application year. Thank you for your interest in advancing California opportunities to renew native health systems, what we like to call ACORNs, California Indian Tobacco Education Program, and we call that CITE. Subcontract funds are intended to foster the process of bringing together a broad-based group of community leaders like you and members to discuss local tobacco issues, explore data and indicators, set priorities, and implement action strategies. This funding has been made available as part of a California Rural Indian Health Board and Good Health and Wellness in the Country grant funded by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The goal for CITE program is to prevent commercial tobacco abuse among American Indians and Alaska Natives and protect tribal members from second-hand smoke through a holistic approach. Subcontract funds for CITE project during this year have been allocated for tribes to implement and evaluate projects that propose a combination of effective community-chosen and culturally adapted policy, systems, and environmental changes, what we like to call PSCs. Successful projects accomplish this by educating tribal members and leaders about the burden of commercial tobacco abuse on members of the economy, on members and the economy of the tribe or tribal organization. Reducing secondhand smoke exposure through commercial tobacco policy implementation, reducing exposure to commercial tobacco advertising, and also by increasing the utilization of California Smokers Helpline. This right here is our session's agenda. I kind of went over what GVIC is and what Acorns does. We'll talk about the eligibility, the important dates, the funding availability, the project requirements, budget guidelines, what is allowable expense, and application guidelines, work plan, outcomes and evaluation, and what we're offering for technical assistance. GVIC is a 5-year grant from 2014 to 2019 awarded to CRIB by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. GVIC comes with grant comes with supplemental funding that is called CITE, and that is used to address commercial tobacco in Indian country. The overall program objective is to implement effective policy, systems, and environmental changes as a way of improving and preventing chronic disease and associated risk factors in tribal communities. The program goal is to reduce communities' exposure to commercial tobacco products and secondhand smoke exposure. There are 4 strategies that are recommended and allowed for the CITE program. The first one is to expand the reach of the CDC's TIPS campaign or other federal tobacco education campaigns, Surgeon General's reports, and other tobacco-related science evidence-based publications among tribal members. The second one is to inform tribal leaders, so education, decision makers, and tribal communities about the burden of commercial tobacco use to their tribe members and the tribal economy. The third one is to implement evidence-based, culturally relevant interventions that increase the number of American Indian Alaska Natives protected from secondhand commercial tobacco smoke as a result of implementing a commercial tobacco policy. And the last one is to implement evidence-based, culturally appropriate tribal interventions that decrease AIAN exposure to commercial tobacco marketing and availability of commercial tobacco products at the site. That could be at the tribe or whatever tribal organizations that you're part of. A note, we have created sample work plans for each of these strategies. Please request them by filling out the TA request form. I'll go over the TA request form at the end. You can submit it to us and then we'll respond back to your request as soon as possible. But again, we do have work plans available for each of these strategies. You can use those activities to kind of look at how they will work for your community, and you can change them and in whatever way possible, and make it fit your own needs. Eligibility for this subcontract is you have to be a tribe or tribal organization within California, a federally recognized tribe or tribal organization. Be seeking funding to support the tribe's tobacco education and policy activities. Have completed the phase 1 deliverables, which were community health assessments and community action plan. We call that the ACORN phase 1, and also have sufficient capacity and resources to complete the planned project activities within the project timeframe. The California area was fortunate to receive 2 CDC JVIC awards. One was given to CRIB and one was given to UIHS. And so please note that UIHS member tribes are not eligible for CRIB ACORN subcontracts, as they fall within the service area of UIHS. If you have any further questions, please get in contact with Valerie Reed. Her email is given right there, so she will be able to better answer all your questions. Here are some of the important dates to be watchful for. The project period is from December 15 of 2017 to September 29th of 2018. Project activities need to be between those. So when you're working on your work plan, that is the time frame that you will be using. The funding announcement release will be on October 2nd, 2017. I'll be sending out an email to all the eligible tribes and tribal organizations. That's when I'll be providing all the documents that you will be needing to work on and give back to me. Pre-application review deadline is on October 20, so that's deadline for when you can complete all your application and you can send it to us, and then we can review it for you, and we'll send it back to you after, and you can make those changes, whatever we recommended, or and then you can submit your application afterwards. The deadline for the application is October 31st. That's a firm deadline of the 2017. So please send in your applications before that. And we'll notify of the funds on November 30, 2017. And the final report, we'll have 2 reports and a final report. The final report is due on September 29, 2018. I'll go over the progress report when we go inside a little more. And the subcontract funds will be dispersed as 50% of the award amount. In the initial payment will not be distributed until after the executed contract. So you will have to enter into contract, and after that's been signed, we'll issue the first 50%, and the final payment will be dispersed after we receive and review all the subcontract required reporting, which will be towards the end around the final report due. So you'll have to submit the final report to get the later 50%. Available funding, approximately number of awards we'll have available this time is 5. That can vary depending on how much is requested and how much we have available. So it can go above, or it will be at least 5. So it can go above, but it won't be less than 5. The 1-year award amount will range from $2,500 to $7,000. So please make your request between that amount. This is a competitive funding opportunity. There will be other tribes and tribal organizations competing with you, so that's something for you to look at on that you need to submit good application so you can get funded that is competitive. So we'll fund that application. Programs will be awarded based on the application review. We will have staff at CRIB that are not working on this program evaluate the applications, and they will review these applications and will fund according to whatever they recommend. The degree to which the proposal meets all RFP requirements, that's one of the criteria, and the feasibility of achieving those project objectives within the estimated schedule and budget is the second thing we'll look at. The requirements for the project, each funded tribe and tribal organization will be required to do the following. Those are adhering to report requirements, the 2 progress reports and the final report, identifying leadership and staff support for this project, developing appropriate processes to carry out action steps, completing the activities indicated in the subcontract and as planned in the project work plan that you'll be creating, and participating in at least one site visit before the project ends on September 29 of 2018. You also have to commit to the requirements of the subcontract, including adhering to timeline and providing the appropriate deliverables that you will create. For example, if you make a video, we would like to see that. If you make some brochures, we would also like to see those. Those are some things we can share with CDC. For as far as the reporting requirements, we want you to document, like I said, products developed through use of subcontract funds. That could be policies, environmental changes, tips videos, or publications. We would like to see those. There's progress reports and updated work plan that are due in April 2018 and July 2018. So there will be 2 progress reports and a final report, which will be due on September 29 of 2018, and we would also like an updated work plan at that time too. Budget guidelines. We are requiring that application be submitted with the budget, and that will not be used for review, but we would still like a budget, and a budget that is adherent to the work plan. That can include salaries and wages, fringe benefits, travel, consultant services, and supplies. I'll go over the budget a little later on when I go over the application. We have created a sample budget, and please request it by filling out the TA request form, and I recommend that you do that because that will kind of show you what we're looking for in a budget. As far as the allowable expenses, you can use the funds from this project for signage, supplies, softwares for computers, printing, reasonable stipend for coalition members. That has to be very small. Hiring of offsite experts for training and technical assistance, for example. So if there is a training that you think would benefit the staff, you can hire a consultant and they can provide that training, and you can start providing those services after. For example, if there's some kind of cessation program that you think would be beneficial for the community, you can actually hire a consultant and they can come to your community, train your staff, and then you can start implementing that program. You can also use the funds for salary. You can use the funds for travel related to project, and also if you want to use the funds, you can also use it for publication of tobacco education materials. Grant funds cannot be used for clinical services, construction or renovation of the facility, lobbying, livestock, or travel unrelated to the project. And if you have any questions about the funding limitations, please contact us. We would love to work with you and figure out what is allowable and what is not. I'm going to go over a little bit of the application components. Now, the application includes the cover page, problem statements, work plan, organization capacity, evaluation methods, and budget. Let's go to the application, what that would look like. Here, I'll open it up. So this is what the application looks like. It'll have a cover page, and the cover page will include a lot of contact information and the official project contact and project lead. So that will be information that we'll use to contact. This is a problem statement, and this will be a short overview of commercial tobacco used in the community and anything you have already implemented policies that can be put in that box. And afterward, we have the work plan template. I'll use this example right here. Wrong one. So this is what the work plan would look like. It comes with the directions on there already, so please read them carefully. We have the project goal that will go here. We don't want you changing the project goal because we've been advised to select a project goal already, and that is to reduce communities' exposure to commercial tobacco products and secondhand smoke. And afterwards you go to program strategy. These are the program strategies right here. You can for you to go on to the next level, to the objectives, you have to pick one or two, however many project strategies that you think you'll be using. We don't recommend that you go more than two, because that will become hard to implement because you'd be doing too many things. And target population, that goes right here. Estimated population reach, that will be right here. That will be the number of people you'll be trying to reach. The objective, that would be a statement that describes the results to be achieved and the manner in which they will be achieved. You usually need multiple objectives to address a single problem goal. Objective can be process or outcome oriented. Objectives must align with the selected strategy. So the objective that you put here should align with this strategy. So over here, we're talking about implementing a commercial tobacco-free policy in this program strategy. So one of our objectives is to create a commercial tobacco-free policy for tribal clinics and Head Starts by the end of the project year. What would be the activities that would go into that would be begin writing and planning for the policy. In the timeline, you would put what would be the time frame for you to complete that activity, the staff that will be designated to complete that activity, and the short-term outcome measures. So that would be, well, we will complete a draft policy and the partners that you will have. So you can have like the tribal council, the clinical staff, the Head Start staff, and the community at large. Those will be your partners. You can have more partners, less partners, depending on how you're going to be working this in your community. This right here, the progress column, you will not be using until you update us on your either progress reports or the final report. And when you do get to that level, you will be just updating this by either clicking complete, in process, or incomplete. And that will help us track and help us realize where you guys are, so we can come back and provide you with more feedback and technical assistance. So that's what the work plan looks like. We do, as you can see, there's we have one strategy, but we have a lot of objectives. Objective A, objective B, C, D. So it depends on how many objectives you will need to complete that strategy. So you can use as many as you want. It's pretty easy to use in a Word format, and I recommend that you use as many objectives as you want to be clear on what you are trying to accomplish. And if you have any more questions about the work plan, feel free to give us a call or an email, and we would love to help you and provide you feedback on that. Next, we have, let's go back to the application again. After, that's the attachment A that will be provided to you, and you can complete that. We do want to know your organization's capacity to carry on this project. So there will be a few questions on who's administrating the project, how's the budget going to be managed, and you can see over here who's going to have day-to-day responsibility for the key tasks. So who's going to be the coordinator of the project, those kind of questions, and also proposed partnerships. You can kind of look at your work plan, and after you complete that, you can kind of come back and answer those questions. They're pretty easy to answer after you completed your work plan. Next, we go to evaluation methods. Evaluation method comes also with two parts. We have the attachment B, the outcomes and evaluation, and a few questions on the application. So I'll go back to the attachment B now, which is outcome and evaluation. This has two sections, section 1 and section 2. They both come with instructions. So you'll start by putting your tribal organization name, and then you can just follow this right here. Strategies, objectives, the question for evaluation, the indicators use to measure, and the data sources and tools you'll be using. I'm using this as an example again here. You'll have the strategies. You'll click on the strategy that you are going to be implementing, and you'll have an objective like protect my tribal members from secondhand commercial tobacco smoke by implementing a commercial tobacco-free policy, right? And then the evaluation question can be, what were the major factors that assisted in fulfilling this objective? And you then will have to come up with indicators that will help you evaluate that question. That could be, how the tribal community team worked, how the collaboration and partnerships came in handy, the community resources you used, the tribal leadership support, and the tribal community support that you received. Those could be indicators. And you can collect data from those, and obviously you can have meeting notes, the number of drafted policies that people brought to the meetings. Those will be the data sources that you will receive. You can also ask a question about possible challenges and barriers, and then you can also have an indicator for those and the data sources for that as well. The second section obviously also comes with instructions, and you already have selected the strategy over there. You'll kind of have to go back to that and look back at your work plan and how you can complete this section. You'll be asked about your estimated reach and the key partners, and right here these are also clickable, all these boxes. So when you want to click on one of the outcomes, all you have to do is just click on it and it'll mark there, and then you'll have to figure out what the key partners are for you to achieve that outcome. So for example, increase access to health education resources that improve health leave attitudes and behaviors. Well, you think you're going to be implementing that, you select it, right? And after that you will try to figure out how many tribal members will be reached from that reach. So your estimated reach is about 250 to 300. How are you going to reach that? What are your partners that will help you accomplish that? Will be, you'll be working with the tribal government, you'll be working with CRIB, you'll be working with the CDC, maybe you'll go to the school and the fire department, tribal clinic. Those are a few partners you can use to get information from, and also where you can display that information. So for example, maybe you can partner with the fire department and provide them with the information, and they can use that information and display it at their site, and it'll help you achieve that goal. And this, you can look at it. There's more, and you can have same partners, you can have different partners for each of those outcomes. So that's the attachment B, the outcomes and evaluations. I'll close that. We'll go back to the application again. And after you've completed that, it'll kind of help you answer some of these questions. And after you fill that, we'll go to budget. So budget is the last part of this application. I'll open a sample budget for you, and this is what it would look like. We want a clear budget where we can see what you will be utilizing the monies for. So you might have a project lead that is a full-time employee, and you will kind of figure out what their salary is and what that will take, how much time it will take them to complete the project, and also maybe the executive director or another person is working on the project. So you figure that out. You put number 1, number 2, number 3. So you have maybe 3 or 4, however many people it will take to complete the project, and you show us their salaries. It has to be an estimate. You don't have to tell us their exact salaries. You don't have to tell us that what their hourly salary is. You can just tell us how much they will be taking from that project, and then you can add that and put it on the right folder. And then you can also do the fringe from that. You can put the supplies in this box, and you have to be clear on which supplies you will be taking. You can't just put 2,550 for supplies and not tell us what you're buying with those supplies. And it can obviously change. Maybe you won't need those supplies later on, but we want to be a pretty good estimate, that'll help us help you after when you're looking for for us to approve. Hey, is this allowable? Is this not allowable? if we just look at the budget, we'd be like, oh, okay, this is what they planned for, this is allowable, and we'll let you know. For travel, you can also do the same, and consultant, contractual. So if you know there's going to be a video you're making and you need a cultural expert for that, you can account that in the budget. And if you have a digital storyteller, maybe someone who quit smoking and they want to help you make a video, digital storyteller, you can also that's also allowable, so you can add that to your budget as well, and then add the final amount at the end. And so that's what the budget looks like. This is available. You request us that you want to look at the budget sample, and then we'll send that to you as well. So after we're done with that, we're pretty much done with the application. We do need authorized signatures, the name, the signature, the title, and the date that this was finalized, and then you can send that to us. All those documents, you can send those to us at srif@crip.org. That's my email. And please indicate in the subject line of your email that this is an application for CITE subcontract from, and then you put your name of the tribe or tribal organization that you're working for. All application documents must be submitted in a typewritten format and submit no later than 11:59 p.m. on October 31 of 2017. So that's the deadline. Technical assistance, if you have any technical assistance needs, and I recommend that you actually do reach out to us. All applicants are highly encouraged to contact CRIB for technical assistance in developing their application. Technical assistance includes access to webinar, explaining application procedures, telephone call with Acorn program staff, sample application documents that I've been talking about, and feedback on your CITE application prior to submission. To request assistance, please fill out the TA request form and send it to Julie. Her email is jvilla@crib.org, or you can call us. And let me go over to what the TA request form looks like. So this is what the TA request form looks like. It's pretty easy to use. You can put your name on there, so Sohaib, and the date is 9/26/17, and organization, whatever organization that you're working for, and then you can go to the types of technical assistance we're providing. So for example, if you want a telephone call with the Acorn program staff, you can go to that box, put X, and you also want sample applications documents, so you will go there, and whatever document you want, you can click on those. And if there's something that we don't have over here but you think will be useful in developing your application, you can be like, I need this, and you can submit that to us, and you submit it to Julie, and then we'll figure out who is best to respond to that need. It's pretty easy to save, and you can just send an email to jvilla@crip.org or call her, and she'll help you fill the form out, and then we can go from there. Another thing we have is the application review, and since we might have a few applications where it takes time for us to provide feedback to you. So if you want feedback on your application, please get in contact with us before October 20th and send us the application materials, so application work plan, your evaluation questions, all that, whatever you need feedback on, please send that to us before October 20th, and then we'll try to return that to you no later than October 27th, and then you can make the changes and you can send it back to us. Another form of technical assistance we have is let me go back. You can register for a webinar. In addition to individually scheduled appointments that you can make with us, we'll also be available for Q&A conference calls regarding this application every Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, beginning Friday, October 6th. So this is the Friday after the RFP has been released until October 27th of 2017. So those Fridays you can register for this webinar. This is the link, and I'll also include the link in when I send the RFP email out, so you can easily sign up for that webinar, so you can get in contact with us that way as well. So those are the forms of technical assistances we're providing, and I highly recommend that you take advantage of that, because this is a competitive process, so you want to make your application as good as it can get. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. My name is Sohaib Arif. I'm the health education specialist here. My phone number is listed there, so is my email. You can also reach out to Geneva if you have worked with her in the past. Please go ahead and reach out to her, or you can reach out to Julie. We are all here to help you develop the best application and work plan you can, and start a program like this in your community and help reduce the effects of commercial tobacco in your community. I hope this webinar was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to get back to me, and I would love to respond back. Thank you so much.